Dun, dun,
I
dun.
don't, every time I see you, Kevin, you just make me smile. So that's good, I guess.
That's the idea, baby. Life is a bowl of cherries or whatever we're going to talk about.
Cherries. I
I,
don't like cherries, but we'll. How about
do.
I get what you're saying. Go over chronichope.us. That's where you can get all of Kevin's information, resources, all free, and you can reach him directly. He's got a big Facebook group that families, basically families only. It's not marketing. It's not. I mean, I respect it because it's not overflowed with. I'll just say marketing. If you're not watching him on Instagram, you can easily creep them. I do it every single day. It's like the highlight of my day. It's go over to Kevin W. Petersen on Instagram, and he's got all kinds of videos, and you can take some cheap shots at him, but tremendous information. But nonetheless,
I wish they would. I wish they would put comments and questions, and you give us. You and I can answer questions all day about. What do I do about this? What do I do about that? How do I handle this? How do I figure that out? Just pummel us, push us.
Pummel us. It's going back to the days when I got bullied. Pummel us. Anyway,
That's right, baby.
Let's go right into it. Our son decided declined our help for treatment, and we told him he could not stay at his home if he declines help. That was over a month ago. We've heard nothing. This is an ongoing issue, kind of. They're kind of just saying, like, what do we do? Reaching out, like, literally been prolonged period of no contact. What do you kind of walk a family through in those cases? I know you get them a lot.
Yeah, no, totally. And I'm first of all, major props to you for setting that boundary and holding the boundary. And you know what? I would just be clear with them, like, hey, we still love you. We never stopped loving you. But the reality is that if you're going to choose the drug and alcohol lifestyle, we are not going to support you. We're not going to, but we still love you. And when you engage, if you engage with him, just continue to say, hey, if you want help, we'll help you. But if you don't, we can't, and I get where the family is upset about that. I understand that that's uncomfortable, but right now that's really the best space to be. What I would tell that family to do right now is to take this time and work on themselves, dig into themselves, and say, start doing your own work and go to therapy, go to family groups, work on codependency, work on family systems. This is an opportunity for not to focus on him, but to focus on you. And build yourself up and get to that space. Because the one thing I will tell you is that he's going to come back. I did the same thing. I lasted about 6 weeks. And then I finally was like, damn it, they're serious this time. And you just need to be able to be prepared for that. And you could also offer to him, hey, look, if you don't want to go to treatment, we would get you a sober coach. We would get you a Jay Staples. We would get you sober living. We would, offer him stuff, but it's stuff that he's going to have to engage in. If he's going to choose drugs and alcohol, you can't live at home, and we're not going to pay your bills. You're going to have to choose that one on your own. Now, let's be clear. If he is shooting up heroin or putting needles or doing life-threatening stuff, then you need to take it to the next level and go for the old-fashioned intervention. And that's more Jay's territory than mine. But this is not one of those things where you can be like, okay, all right, well, we get it, but why don't you figure it out and we'll get back to us. If he's putting his life in jeopardy with this stuff, then you got to jump in. And that's more. What would that look like to you?
I'll say a statement and then follow up with a question kind of to you. It's there's a lot of cases where it sounds like this case. And again, I always got to do the PSA. We get these questions. We don't know the whole full story. You get, but it sounds as if, this son, I don't know how old is he, but he's MIA. And it happens all the time. They go into this dark hole. They find the drug house. They find Circle. And so sometimes the family legitimately doesn't know where they're at or anything like that. And so, for an intervention or a sober coach, that's, when they come up for air, where I call, like reach out, or you find where they're at, then you can, step in. But there's families always want to know, like, is it all right to kind of text them or whatever it may be? They may not respond. I've always been a big fan of, like, you can send them like a morning text. Like my mom would always send me the kind of a Bible passage or a morning meditation or something. Oh, this reminded me, like, she was basically just, I think, quoting Jesus Calling out of the meditation book. But I support the family with like the daily kind of, hey, just thinking about you. And the only thing I would say is kind of turning into a question for you is, just don't respond. Don't have a normal conversation. Don't give him money. Don't, like, if he's reaching out for selfish needs, say, go right back to, if you want help, say, yeah, we'll come and pick you up right now. But, that daily kind of text, if they have a phone, like where do you kind of stand as far as, the communication? Like if you have someone that's kind of MIA, I think it's kind of healing. I know for a lot of moms, just to be able to send that maybe 1 or 2 daily texts. So how do you what's your stance on all that?
As long as it doesn't keep reopening the wound over and over and over again, yeah, there's nothing wrong with just saying, hey, have a great day. Hope you're doing well. Here's a little recovery passage or Bible passage. But, one of the things that I would just tell the family, just beware of the fact that if you just keep knocking on the door thinking one day he's going to answer, you're setting up an expectation for yourself.
Yeah.
And I get where you want to, I totally understand that. I completely get it. And I also get, like, when my family shut me down, they were like, it was really hard because we didn't know what the hell was going to happen. And we didn't know where you were going to end up. And, but we also knew we could not continue to support your behavior. Now what I would tell this family is that if there is engagement or communication, what I would say is every time you talk to them, it's like, hey, our offer still stands. We're happy to help you get treatment, happy to find sober living, happy to get you a coach or a therapist. We just want you to understand we are willing to help you if you're willing to step over to this side of the street.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the text. Maybe that's the daily text. Just want to let you know that we're ready to help you. That's fine. I got no problem. I don't believe in the tough love, shut the door, act like they're invisible.
Yeah.
That's crap. And but I just, when you're engaging, when you're trying to send out the message to them, I want to make sure we have your intentions. We know what your intentions are, and that it's not making you miserable.
This is a good point for you because I get the mom. Normally it's the mom. It could be both, but mom or dad or sister, loved ones. They kind of do have that. Like I have not heard from him. He's refusing to kind of respond to any of the texts, and that kind of spirals into a lot of their like own crap and so forth. So I think you raised a good question, and I gotta remember to remind families of that too, because I get it a lot. Like, I send these texts and he's not even responding. And sometimes they have the red next to them, so they know when they read them. And it's like, it's spiraling, and it goes into a 45-minute conversation of kind of bringing them back on. So that's a good point that you bring up. And I need to remember that too, because it could, there's expectations. He's obviously doing some illegal stuff. And sometimes the shame and the guilt and what all these other, like sometimes I didn't respond for a while either. And it's not that I didn't love my mom or anything. It was just that I didn't know how to deal with the guilt and the shame. I didn't know really. I think in a lot of cases, I'll just speak for myself, but I think it translates. Sometimes we don't know how to ask for help. Like we have this feeling of like, I really wish. I remember being in the abyss and just having some thoughts like, I just wish someone would just break down my door and say, my mom and dad sent me, you're coming with me. And I'd be like, okay, and I just didn't know how to. And I finally did, thankfully, a couple of times say, like, I'm ready, and then they obviously sprung into action. But sometimes that simple I'm ready text is really tough to say.
Yeah, it is. And that's why the family, I'm with you. That's why the families that I work with, I'm always like, hey, just make sure you always let them know We're ready when you are. We're ready when you are. We're ready when you are. We'll come get you and take you to detox. We're ready, no problem. But I also, there comes a point when, like you said, you start the constant engagement. So it's like you're chasing someone, that doesn't want to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna drive you nuts. So, yeah.
My 22-year-old son is taking a break from college for a year. Says hopefully, I think this is, I think mom and dad are hoping he goes back, but he's really into working out and muscle building. He's abused drugs in the past, and he gets all kinds of things in the mail. This is, he gets more and more, like, no matter what it is. Like, I'm just hesitant with anything getting in the mail because it's not 1980s anymore. You can get everything kind of just sent through FedEx and whatever it is, and parents are none the wiser. But this question went on. I mean, it basically has to do with, working out, the fascination with, especially young people working out. And there's all these supplements and all the, like all I have to do is jump on internet. There's, try this, all this. And so you have, she wanted to, she ended the question about, like a trainer that knows, about all this stuff that he's getting, because she's none the wiser. So I guess the landscaping question is, you have someone that obviously found a passion, wants to take care of his body, has a bunch of things being shipped to him. They don't know what they all are. It's all in the name of working out. Like, how did parents kind of decipher or kind of put boundaries in?
Well, if he's taking a year off of college, he's living at home, I would just lay out my basic boundaries, the the three categories: no drugs, no alcohol. If you're going to live here on our dime, that's the rule, and we're going to drug test you. And if you think he's taking something illegal or he's doing something inappropriate, like testosterone or whatever, blah, 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 then you got to have that conversation with him. Like, hey, we're happy to have you living here, but these are the rules, and your health matters to us. Our house, our rules. Second category is work or school. If you're not going to go to school, you're going to go to work. You're going to have to work full time, and you're going to have to contribute to the household. It might be a nominal couple $100 a week type of thing, but you got to get them into the rhythm of participating in the process. And then the last part is the family behavior, and you just got to have a couple of simple basic rules, like, we have a curfew. You got to keep your shit clean. I always tell the family, imagine if I came to live with you. That would be a nightmare. But what would that look like? And what would your expectations be? And they're like, oh, okay. So you really need to treat them the same way, and you just need to be really clear and concise. Your room needs to be clean because it's our house. You need to be, there's a curfew. I mean, whatever your rules are, we can figure that out, whatever that needs to look like. But that's part of the process, is laying down the boundaries and then holding the boundaries, because that's what keeps the integrity of the family system. Consistency, accountability, transparency. Consistency. These are the rules. This is how we do the rules. This is what we do. Accountability. When you don't follow the rules, this is what happens. When you do follow the rules, this is what happens. Transparency. This is how we all operate. Everything's above board. There's no big secret. It's not an us-them relationship. We're all here together. This is the reality of the situation. And everyone's going to be treated like an adult because they are adults, and we'll see where it takes us.
Yeah, and it wouldn't help having someone that kind of, knows what they're talking about. Like, I've had situations where they just take a picture of, it could sometimes just be protein powders. It could be, any number of things. They take a picture of whatever is being sent to them, send it over to me or whoever it is, and then we can kind of just run it through our gauntlet, and it very well could be, pure workout, supplements that, not an issue. But I know families kind of, and it's sometimes I tell families, there's some things I don't even know that I got to reach out to other people or do Google searches around. So I can only imagine what they're going through. So it doesn't help. It doesn't hurt, I should say. It doesn't hurt to have someone on your team that you can kind of just run through. Otherwise, I would say, like, hey, like, take a, look, see what's there, and then Google everything. And then, you're going down a black hole of Google, but at least you'll have some kind of feeling of what he's doing. If it's somewhat illegal, I'm sure you'll So that's probably the best option, because
Yep.
who knows? And
Yep.
anything can be sent. Anything can be sent directly to your underage or young adult, or doesn't matter age. This isn't about going to some back alley anymore and seeing some guy in a white van or something, or sliding it into your, like, it can be sent directly to, and it comes in a brown box.
Oh, yeah.
It looks as normal as can be.
Yep. No questions asked. Yep.
Son was arrested for drug possession, not first offense. He did months in jail and is now in a treatment center, court assigned to him. I feel like being in with a bunch of criminals isn't the best. So,
well, I have some good news and I have some bad news.
I think we both thought the same thing when reading this.
Yeah, and I'm not laughing at this family.
No.
I totally get where they're coming from, and the good news is your kid's safe and he's in the right place. The bad news is he's in that place because he's one of those people, and there's a way out. There's an absolute way out. There's a part of the big book in Alcoholics Anonymous that talks about lower companions. And everyone's like, well, yeah, let me tell you about all these people. And then eventually you have that realization. You're like, shit, I'm the lower companion. I'm the one that my friends' wives and girlfriends were like, you can't go out with Kevin. He's banned. No hanging out with Kevin, because weird shit happens when you go out with Kevin. It's not always like, like going to really bad play. It's just fucking weird shit happens with him, and it's just, you have children, you can't do that, and I'm like, all right, whatever. But yeah, now that's the reality. I'm very sorry that your son's gotten himself involved in the legal system, but right now, if he's in a court mandated treatment program, it sounds like he might be running through drug court, and that might actually help him get to where he needs to be and go where he needs to go. But yeah, I get it that he's hanging out with people that are unsavory, but that's because that's his crowd, but he has an opportunity right now to turn that around. He really does. Those programs have people, peers that are willing to help him get. Yes, those people are there, but there's also people that are there that are on it, and you can't control who he hangs out with or who he becomes buddies with. So don't even go there. We're not going to, that's not a question, Woo, got all a little worked up there. So, what you need to do is, as parents in this opportunity, is take care of you, have some really good boundaries, and get ready for when he comes out, and be really clear and concise with him. Like, hey, here's the boundaries. No drugs, no alcohol. You got to get a job or go to school. Here's the family behavior package. And it's not negotiable. Continue your success, because just because he's in treatment doesn't magically make everything all better. The most important day of treatment is the day you leave and where you go and what you do.
Yeah. I mean, it's age old where I come from, where it kind of enters where I get the phone calls, is like you have the kid in drug court or the court assigned, the family wants to know if they should go send them to, another treatment center, paying money and insurance and blah, blah, blah. I walk them through that. But there's also this reminder, like, he's there for his own behaviors and actions. And there's a valuable lesson to he's getting the help if he so desires. And so I'm sure that program is littered with people that are in the same situation and are probably working or involved with that program that kind of broke out of the system or the cycle. Like same thing with me, is like when you were talking, I remember saying to my mom was like, oh, you know what? I just need to stop hanging out with this one guy. Just seems like we always get in trouble. And then my dad from the other room says, well, they're probably saying the same about you, Jay. And that was rude, but it was dead on. Like, I became that guy because, I was the straw. Like, the trouble, it was adrenaline, whatever it may be. Like, there's all kinds of issues going on in hand, but, I'm in this chair, you're in this chair. Like, you have to get trend up towards recovery. it's not, you're not going to go to some magical place and it's just going to be, shot through you, and you're going to leave the doors and be like, oh, okay, this is what recovery, there's got to be effort. So he's got every opportunity he put himself there to do what he needs to do. So if he's legitimate about changing his own life, if not, he's probably going to go further into that system.
Yeah. This is his gig, his choice. But what you can do is hold him accountable for his choices as the family system. That's the most important thing you can do, is hold him accountable and make it clear. Hey, she said it's not his first time. So it's a second offense, and I'm hoping he's nonviolent drug offense, so he can work his way through court and get things handled. But this is his option, and this is his opportunity to make changes.
But and it's like you always said. I think you said it in the first question. I mean, same could be true for all three of these questions. Family can take this opportunity to do their own work, and kind of, it doesn't mean that you guys are left on the outside. You guys can bring in people. You guys can get the help, and you can get the support and guidance to have him walk through that. And if he slips up, or if he succeeds, either way, you guys will be in a better position to handle a slip up or the success, because both families always worry about the slip up. It's the success that, I remember my family still had a long period of like, okay, I think Jay may be hanging on to the sobriety. What does that mean for us? And I screwed with my brothers some, and, we were out in the pool one day, and I'm like 2 years sober. And my brother says like, hey, grab me a beer and bring it to me. And I'm like, really? The guy that's got a problem, and he's like, oh, no, I'm sorry, And I was like, dude, I'm just kidding, settle down. But I think the family, it's not just the slip ups. They need support and guidance with the success, and to make sure he keeps trending up, or she keeps trending up.
Yep, exactly. And that's the best thing the family can do. Yep.
All right. Well, this is another Family Matters. We're going to do this every week. We may have to do a little earlier in the week next week, because I'm going to your old homeland on Wednesday.
Oh, God, you're going that quick, huh? That early?
Yeah, I'm going to go see some peeps.
Oh, snap. All right. Yeah, that sounds great. You let me know when. I'm always available. We can do whatever you want. I'll be there starting Saturday.
Yeah. Are you going down to Springs on Saturday?
No, I'm going down Sunday.
Springs on Sunday. So
yeah. When are you going down the Springs?
Sunday.
Well, maybe we'll have breakfast or something Sunday morning.
Let's do it. You'll see me. Alrighty, we'll see each other next week.
All right, buddy.
Bye-bye.